Hi, this is John Teeters, for our digital collaboration social learning group. There are 4 members in our group: Brittany, Dana, John, and Matt. 3 of them I have never met before, but we're collaborating on projects that have to do with social learning and how to implement that in the classroom. So our first peek is at our community page. This is what we set up for the social learning group. It might be the area where we had the most collaboration, where we actually had to agree upon things together, like the background icon or image for our group, a little saying to represent what we're trying to do. But other than that, we just posted here, and we shared one another's ideas and things like that. But that's what we looked at. So in each area there, every person had a name that they could pull down and post their announcements on, and places to reply to and make announcements. What I experienced in the process were learning how to set up a Google Plus page. I've never used one in my classroom, and so I was kind of quick to try to volunteer to have the opportunity to do that. For me, I need to do something before I can really lay claim that I understand it. And just being able to set up the parameters and the settings and things like that, and trying to get that all squared away helped me figure out how to do the process. Couple of the things that were challenging, that we experienced, was being 8 hours out of sync, as I'm 8 hours later in the day than most people in the class. And so a lot of times when I would try to communicate, I'd have to wait a day to get the response, because most people would be asleep or at work while I was posting. And then so we had a little bit of, I don't know if anybody else experienced it, but just waiting for people to post and things like that from me, mostly because I'm not in the same time zone. Got a lot of good feedback, people sharing their ideas and sharing how what the resources they found. And as I said, we had lots of posts, but the one thing that I think would be the most challenging thing that we haven't experienced yet is having to arrive at a consensus on things. And I wonder how that could be involved in the process. And a little bit of it depends on the setup of the class, I know. But it'd be interesting to see that happen, to be able to structure a process where the members in the group had to actually come up with a consensus of things. It'd be a lot more like what we experience in the real world, when we're out there working and having to work with other people. So that's kind of the things I experienced in the process of the group. A couple of things I'm going to take to my classroom. Just this whole idea of, at least the only hiccup that we had in our communication was when I was trying to connect with Matt, and I didn't have his email address, and somehow I had an email that he had gotten sent to me that had a no reply email address in it. And so I was trying to get back to him. So there was a couple of days where we were trying to touch base, and I'm sure he may have gotten frustrated with waiting for me, but it was this thing of just keeping on trying until we made connection. And so I think one of the clear things is that whole thing of expectations regarding how to keep in communication. Fortunately, I think everybody in our group didn't have any issues with keeping on trying. It wasn't that, but I think it would just be helpful to make sure, as I take this to my classroom, that students know that it's expected that they reply to emails promptly, that students understand that until they reply, that they're leaving somebody out there kind of hanging, not knowing how to bring closure to this thing. So the other thing I'd bring back to my classroom is outlining clear expectations for students giving one another feedback. For me, I just love feedback. I'm addicted to notifications on social media, and I think that that's one of the main engaging things for social media, is that it allows for a lot of feedback to kids. And so I really like this thing that we're experiencing in our classes, the idea that when people post, we need to reply to 2 or 3 posts in assignments. And I like that expectation because it allows me to choose things to respond to and choose things not to respond to with the expectation that I'll be involved. And so I think that's another thing that I'll take to my classroom when I start to implement this in blogging. So that's it for today, and hope you're all doing well. Thanks.